Finally got some color. What's up, you guys? Welcome. It's Vaughn Joseph, man, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule today to sit with me on this Friday, April 21st, 2017. I know I'm not supposed to date the shows because they're supposed to be for infinity. So, as you know, we're in Spain, and that's why things look a little different behind me than they normally do. So, no in-studio stuff going on today. We'll be back in the UK studios in about 2 weeks or so. The studio here is under a bit of repair, so I don't have the normal stuff that we normally have available for you. So I even got this new Rode podcaster microphone. Thank you, Rode in Australia, for getting this over to me. So we have a little USB hookup now, so I don't have the XLR. Anyway, all that stuff not interesting to you, I'm sure. So today's episode brought to you by Dirty Lemon. You guys go over to dirtylemon.com if you're in for detoxing, or if you got some hair issues or whatever. dirtylemon.com. They do an amazing series of detoxification drinks. They're wonderful. Had a series of them. Delicious. So let's get into it, man. What's going on? We have a main topic today. We have a quick topic. Today is the 1 year anniversary of the passing of Prince, the artist formerly known as, and the revolution leader and innovator and just amazing entertainer. I hate the word anniversary when you're speaking about someone's death. It seems like there should be a different word. I'm sure there is a different word to use to describe, but I'm just not smart enough to have that adjective in my vocabulary today. So, what we were going to talk about today, there's a podcast that I enjoy, and it's called the 5150 Show, and I don't mind to send some shouts to in their direction. Maybe some of you guys already watched the show. You may recall we had author Zo Williams, author of The Relationship Dismount, How to Exit a Toxic Relationship and Stick the Landing, I believe it is the complete name of the book. He was on the show about a year or so ago. He's also on the 5150 Show. He's one of the co-hosts. It's the Corey Holcomb 5150 Show. And Zo also hosts the Zo What Show, as well as the Voice of Reason over on Dash Radio. More plugging, you guys. Enough of that. So, the show today, I wanted to really go in on what happened about almost 2 weeks now. 2 weeks ago, this coming Tuesday, so just about a week and 3 days ago, on 5150. It's a live show on Tuesday nights in Los Angeles, so I don't catch it until Wednesday when they put the video up on YouTube, because I'm obviously over here in Europe, so it's a little late for me to watch live. So, now, I went back and forth on debating when to address this, if to address it, and so on. And I wasn't going to put the video up there, but it might put what I'm going to say into a bit of context. So I'm going to let you watch this quick video. And before I'm going to lead you into it with 5150 is a show where you've got comedian Corey Holcomb, you've got Darlene Ortiz, who's a hostess, and you've got Zoe Rachel, and you normally have another panelist, Freeze Love, who's also a comic, but he hasn't been on the show. So occasionally so as a result of him being away, they have substitute people that sit in Freeze Love's spot. So with that, we bring in Aries Spears. He's an actor, comedian. You may have seen him on like Mad TV or something like that. I haven't watched anything where I've seen him lately, but that's neither here nor there. There's musicians that are famous that I don't even know who they are. So it doesn't mean anything, right? So at any rate, he's on the show, and the show's a 2-hour podcast, and Aries is very loud, and he had been drinking throughout the show, and he was very disrespectful going on to somebody else's show and acting the way that he did, in my opinion. But that's just Aries Spears, and that's just how he behaves, and that's fine for Aries Spears. But for me, that's, not how I would behave. So it got to a point where Zo Williams had enough. Here's the clip.
Occurred. This fucking loud ass, fired up ass show. But it's love, and we gonna get ready to wrap this shit up. I just want everybody to get a chance to make a point, and we gonna start with Aries.
No, end with me.
Nah, nigga.
Start with you, man.
And fuck that. End
Nah,
with me.
nigga.
You the one that make it the weakest point, so end with me.
Zoe, you want to say something?
Nah, I'm away.
No, don't wait.
Wait, we ain't got time for that now. Y'all gotta make it short and sweet though, too.
You should go now.
You ever trusted me before? Trust me right now. Say what you gonna say.
Yeah.
This is what I think about the whole Barack Obama thing. I was under no
And
illusion.
keep in mind,
Shut the fuck up!
Ooh, you see that half red bone, light skinned nigga?
Hey, that motherfucker put hands on you, nigga. Give you real black eyes.
Come on, don't do that, nigga.
And that's the truth, nigga.
Trust me, nigga. You could trust me.
I've had
nigga.
about enough of your shit. That's the truth, nigga. Shut the fuck up while
The
I'm
loudest
talking.
niggas are the light skinned niggas.
Yep.
That wish they could be
But
black.
that'll do that work though.
No, I know. Go ahead with your
Okay,
little
let's
salt.
all-
And I'm not
Yeah.
drunk, nigga.
I know.
I don't drink, nigga. I'm very clear-minded.
Which means I'll fuck you up
Okay.
even more because I'm drunk, nigga.
Oh, hold up.
Right. So, yeah, he went to socking on him. So, I wanted to do a show on this issue because I wanted, to address it. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to or not, but I did want to wait to do the show because I wanted to see what the team over at 5150 show had to say as a follow-up, to that evening, which, like I said, was just over a week ago. And they did exactly what I had hoped they would do. They came out and said they should have handled it differently. But as we all know, sometimes things just don't happen the way they should initially. Emotions take over, whatever the case may be. So I also didn't want to be an opportunistic, podcaster. I've seen tons of videos pop up, and they actually even addressed this on the show. You've seen everybody and their mama seems to have an opinion on this show, and they're posting videos and they're doing all this stuff, and I didn't want to be lumped into that. I'm not doing this to get clicks and views. I do a show, and I don't have a lot of followers like 5150, but I'm not doing this to gain followers from off the heels or off the back of that incident that happened on that show, getting ancillary views, as Zoe put it on 5150 the subsequent week, just this past Tuesday. So I live in London, so like I said, I don't get to catch the shows live, but I kept seeing the videos on the side screen from last week. I was watching it, and I see, the videos, and it indicates there's going to be some drama on the show because people have been, posting, and it says, other videos and Aries Spears and Zoe fight, blah, 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 blah. So I knew I was going to be in for something. So, yeah, really interesting, the show. And he was getting on my nerves, Aries. I couldn't believe how many times he overtalked, them while they were trying to address issues. And, the one thing I did like is they went on TMZ. And again, another reason why I waited is because I wanted to get as much information as I could before I said, this is what I saw and this is what it was, because I don't know what anything is until somebody says, no, this isn't what happened, this is what happened. So they apparently got contacted by TMZ. Someone sent them the video. I mean, it's on Ustream live, so it's very easy to record while you're watching it. And someone probably sent you TMZ the Ustream clip, and they called them. And they handled themselves with dignity, and I feel they handled the press well. It was funny. Corey's funny. I thought it was hilarious. And I knew the show, after they had been on TMZ, was going to blow up. I mean, and the show's big anyway, as far as the numbers. I watched the show from a I watch their numbers, I guess you could say, because I'm interested in that kind of stuff. And I see, you know, on average, they average just over about 100,000 views per show on average. And more, they're always more than 100,000, but they average, you know, about 100,000 views. And their following is growing. I'm very happy for that. I've only picked up 5150 a few years ago. I didn't really see them when they were at Foxhole initially, and I caught them subsequent when they were over at RMC or whatever that ratchet ass show was that they were doing with the POTUS, and you know how that is if you watch the show. But anyway, I knew the show was going to blow up, and that show that they did, of course, had something in excess of 300,000 views last time I checked. So 3 times as many normal views. Good for them. I hope that it has brought at least a positive fan base to them, and not people that are going to be watching the show just to attack, you know, their behavior and whatever, which seems to have been what has been happening with regards to some of these videos that people have been putting out, which I don't watch. I only watched one video, which was the posting of the actual fight, because like I said, I saw it the night after, and they cut it off on the 5150 show, but someone else had put it up, and I had watched it for an hour, and then they went to, you know, black screen, and I needed to see that shit. So first of all, everybody was out of line. And, you know, like I said, you know, Zoe and them had already addressed the issue. And, you know, and there were different levels of them stepping over the line, but Aries Spears was stepping over the line. And as Charlie Murphy would say, rest in peace, brother, Charlie Murphy would say he was a habitual line stepper overer. That's what was going on with Aries Spears that night. Hosting a show myself, you know, various shows I'm on. I know that sometimes when I watch the shows in post, or if I'm editing them or whatever, I think, damn, I talk too much sometimes, you know. But, you know, if we've been drinking, like on Thoughts from LA to the UK, you know, on the V3 TV show, we drink, you know, and we talk a lot. So, but, you know, I never talk over people. At least I try not to, and not in a disrespectful way when we do the shows. You know, it's I try to be respectful and make sure that everybody's heard. You know, it's not a show about crosstalk. You know, that's what Jerry Springer and Jeremy Kyle, if you're over in the UK, is for. You can't have the crosstalk because then you don't hear anything that anybody's saying. But Aries, you know, he was kind of funny in the start. You know, like I said, I don't really mess with Aries Spears. You know, I know the name and everything, but, you know, he said something to the effect of, he said, man, you couldn't kick my ass if I sat on your feet. You know, that was funny to me. I thought that was funny. So I was like, all right, this is going to be a different show, you know. But after about 15 minutes, I could tell that, you know, there was nothing coming from him but like a one-liner kind of night. You know, that's all he was going to be, just shooting one-liner jokes types all night, where you could just be funny. You know, I mean, he's just a one-liner kind of dude, and I don't like when comedians feel like they need to be on, you know, like all the time. And by on, I mean like funny, or like on stage they feel like they're performing at all times, which isn't good. It seems contrived to me when people behave that way. And if you're funny, you're funny. Like, Corey's funny. He doesn't have to try to, he doesn't chuck out jokes. Just how he thinks and what he says to me is funny. It's funny. You know, Darlene occasionally says funny stuff, you know, but she's not trying to be funny because she's not a comic. And one of our co-hosts from Thoughts from LA to the UK, the show I mentioned a minute ago, Ariana, she's funny. And if you see the shows, and she's just talking, and she's crazy, and it's funny, and I love it. So there's a difference between being a joker and a joke teller. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's a difference. So anyway, about we say about an hour of drinking and loud talking, I knew that something was going to happen on the show. It's one of those things that have to be, you know, expected. You know, you could have a heated debate, you know, but when you're not even listening to the other person or what they're saying, like I can think of about 6 or 7 times where the brother said something and there was a reply from like Zoe or Corey, and Aries would respond basically with like the continuance of what he had just said. So he's yelling and yelling and yelling, and then they would address something that he said, and then he wouldn't address their response. He just blanked them. So, you know, he just wasn't paying them. He didn't care what they were saying. He just wanted to say what he wanted to say. And, you know, when we hear, we either accept or reject what is being said, or we oppose, you know, one idea by another, you know. But when we simply just stop talking for, you know, 10-20 seconds, and then you get to talk, and then whilst the other person's talking, you just continue to ramble, you're not listening. You're not. This is when I knew that the show was going off the rails, completely off the rails, you know. And after that, I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, you know. I think I was I on a plane? Maybe I was just at home, because I've been traveling around a lot, and I download the shows and watch them. But I started to wonder then, how did this fool even get on the show? Because I know that Corey doesn't, you know, normally have just anybody on his show, and Zoe's the same way. Because I remember years ago, Zoe was talking about Tommy Sotomayor. He was going to have Tommy Sotomayor on his show. And I think this was either before, I think this might have been after Tommy Sotomayor had gone on 5150. This was after they left RMC, and they were doing it at like Key's apartment, like at this girl's apartment. And, you know, you have to do the show. Like right now, we're in, you know, the villa. I'm not in the studio downstairs. I'm doing some stuff. And it's Spain. A lot of times I like to shoot outside. But anyway, Tommy Sotomayor is like, yeah, I want to come do your show. And, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to come do the Zoe What show or whatever, where you've got Jeff Brown and, you know, the doctor and so on. And Zoe's like, no, you can come do the Voice of Reason, you know, which is a different show. You know, you don't just get to come right on and do the Zoe What morning show, because it's a bigger, different platform. You know, he doesn't have just anybody on the show, but I haven't been in the industry for a while myself. You know, I figured that, you know, they knew each other. They're both comics, you know. They knew each other from stand-up or something. Otherwise, Corey wouldn't have brought this dude on his show, because, you know, it's just how Corey is. He doesn't trust people. You watch his show, you don't trust people. I had great business outlines for his show. Like I said, I watch his numbers, and I've reached out to him, and he never even responded. Whereas I've had Zoe on my show, and Bobby. Remember Bobby? Bobby? You know, we talked about their books on a different show for Authors of Amazon, which is something that we do on the show as well in the summer times. So at any rate, I'm shocked to see this guy sat there. And they clearly aren't friends, and I don't understand. You know, Freeze Love, I guess, facilitated it, as I saw after. Again, that's why I said I wanted to wait and see. But it's just unfortunate that Aries was disrespectful like that. I don't like the fact that Zoe bombed on this dude. You know, I understand why he did it. He's frustrated, and the guy was disrespectful for 2 hours, you know. I don't like being touched by somebody I don't really know, and he was real tactile, you know, and I was like, that's got to be annoying. Even when somebody just does this when they're talking to you. I used to go to school with a guy like that, and he'd always be elbowing you, like, to get your attention. I'm like, I'm right here, dude. Just talk. You don't have to be giving me rib shots, you know? So, you know, I'm not surprised it ended the way it did. Zoe had a show subsequent to that about anger management or something, or things that piss you off, and people were calling in. I caught just a bit of it because I was on the go on my way to an audition, and you know, I think he's the subsequent fallout is not going to damage his reputation. Aries, on the other hand, yeah, you messed up, brother. You messed up big time. So the way you were behaving, you know, I know you're drinking and everybody's having a good time. I get that, because we do that on our show. But the way that you were behaving was disrespectful. You're on somebody else's show. You're around people that you don't really know, you know, because you're not really friends with Zoe, I'm assuming, or Zoe wouldn't have been trying to, you know, throw doorknobs at your ass. And I heard some of the things that he said about Darlene, and if you don't like somebody, or maybe, you just don't talk to people like that, especially if you're in their house, it's just not cool. So, I knew Zoe was going to bomb on somebody. I knew it was coming because he's got that t-shirt out now that says 50% Tupac, 50% Deepak, 100% Zoe or something like that. He wants to holler at Tommy Sotomayor, and he even said that again on the last show. Who else was he about to bomb on? He almost came to blows with Freeze Love. And I think they kind of grew up in the same areas, and I think they might have known each other for a while, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter, because it wasn't because he took the hat off, but he had said something and they were going to step outside. They didn't end up fighting. But Zoe says I internalize and I got a temper, and that's fine. We all do. We all have a point of where we will go in a different direction with handling a situation. And we all know that Zoe is very, smart, and he can handle himself verbally versus physically first. But sometimes you just can't communicate that way with certain people. I was a bouncer in Detroit for many years, and I never had to really fight anybody, but I've had to handle people. And a lot of times you could just talk to people, and if you can get them to calm down with your words, you don't have to put hands on them. But it isn't always the case. And it was usually with women that they were going crazy. They weren't hearing none of that stuff. So, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about it. I think it was a bit of it was an interesting show. It made for a great show, that's for sure. And he didn't really hit the guy. He didn't land on him. He threw them elbows, and whatever happened. But I haven't seen the Aries Spears follow-up interviews. I don't care, really. I saw who he was then and there, and apparently he had sent some text to Corey about whatever, but he showed who he was. And my loyalties, and even though I don't know these guys personally, I mean, I have spoken, like I said, with Zoe and so on, it will lie with them because I'm more familiar with them. And just, if somebody is new coming into your world, like Aries was for me, and that's their first impression, it's not a good impression. So I'm going to take a little less. I'm going to take what you say with a grain of salt. It's not going to be as important or as impactful subsequent to what I saw, right? So knowing who Zoe is, I know that he's not somebody that's just out there acting like a fool, whereas the first impression you gave off was that, which is bad. So anyway, like what I said or not, and trying to offend anybody. Like I said, I do my show, and I wanted to comment on this. I enjoy 5150. Is been an inspiration for something that we were trying to do with one of our other shows. I'm not a comic, but I like their format, and it's funny. It's a good 2 hours to kill. Hour and a half, whatever, and it's interesting. So keep up the good work, 5150, you guys. Corey, holla at me. I know you don't mess with new dudes, that's fine, but we got ideas. You could be making so much money on your show just based off numbers, and I've put it into the matrix, and anyway, it would work. So y'all be thankful that Corey not charging y'all to watch his show. Like Tommy Sotomayor, I think, makes you pay to watch his little pussy ass station. I think some of his stuff, because I remember going on there, and funnily enough, see, this is another example of what I was just saying about the Aries Spears. Back when I was trying to, do something business-wise, like I said, we got the podcast, and I knew that Tommy Sotomayor has a following. I don't really watch his show that much, but I know that he's got a core of followers, and that's fine. And that's what I'm after. I want more people to watch our shows. So what I was going to do was reach out to him to see about setting up some sort of multi-show type setup, which is what I have on the V3 TV. V3 TV, what's up? So that's what we've got. So if you guys have videos, music videos, or a podcast, or a blog, or if you're an actor or whatever, you can go right to our website at v3tv.uk and upload your video, and it'll send the clicks and stuff right back to your YouTube page, and you still get the views. Anyway, shameless plug, don't care. Watch the stuff, and it's all about you guys. It's really there for you. That just happens to be where we keep our shows too. So, but I was like, yeah, that's good. We should hook up with that guy, and then, you know, put the shows together. And then, you know, maybe bring 5150 over and yada, 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 because we have V3 TV Sports, and we have, you know, Comedy Closet for comedians and all this stuff. Vibes TV for musicians, whatever. I've got like a whole TV network full of shows that we've got from various people. And then the fallout came. The very next day, after Tommy Sotomayor had gone on 5150, and he had, see, like I said, I don't really watch his show. I've seen him. He says he talks some bullshit sometimes. But I've seen his show a couple times, and I was like, that guy's crazy. And then I'm like, yeah, he might have a point here and there, but he's an idiot to me. But it's all about money. I don't care. I'm not trying to date the guy or be with him, you know, be a part of his show. So I'm sitting there, and I'm watching the show, and they go in on Tommy Sotomayor because he had just been on 5150 like a week or so before, and Tommy had said all kind of crap about 5150 and started talking stuff about Zoe and his daughter, I think it was, and how he took them places and this, that, and the other. So that's part of why Zoe's pissed off at him. And Corey doesn't like him for various other reasons. And he stole concepts from them for, you know, Skeet and Skedaddle or something like that, and put them on a t-shirt. He's shiesty. So I was like, man, again, 5150 put me up on game, so I knew that was not the kind of person that you want to align yourself with. And a lot of times you don't know, and a lot of times you end up in situations where you regret it. You know, sometimes you don't do your due diligence, and a lot of times it's just not available. You can't get the information. And like with this Aries Spears cat, after seeing that, I wouldn't mess with that guy. You know, that's who he is. I'm almost certain. You know, there's a company in Detroit called Art Van Furniture, and I think, you know, I used to do interior design, and the owner of that company used to have his sales staff over, and they would drink because they would talk after drinking. It's truth serum. So don't mess with that stuff, man. I ain't messing with that guy. Anyway, we gotta go, man. We're pushing into the half-hour phase. So stay tuned, you guys, at v3tv.uk. We've also got the Von, Joe, and Zoe show coming up later tonight. It's Friday, right? We couldn't do it last night because of the weather. I'm in Spain. He's in California. They got windstorms out there. We got windstorms out here, and I'm in the remote, you know, spare location, bedroom, trying to get the show going out to you guys. But like we said, if you got music videos, if you're a rapper, or a singer, or producer, and you make short films, or, you know, or you're a comedian, you do stand-up, or you even got a podcast or a blog, hit us up, you guys. Go to v3tv.uk. You can put your stuff on our website. If you want your own channel, we can set that up for you, so all your videos rest in one spot. Brilliant. Thanks for supporting, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the show. I'm Von Joseph. Peace.